Um, got to quote something Robert Reich has written in his blog, I guess. He says, I keep hearing that the Democratic Party has moved left and that Democratic candidates may be too far left. But in an era of unprecedented concentration of wealth and political power at the top, I can't help wondering what it means to be left. Robert Reich writes, a half-century ago when America had a large and growing middle class, those on the left sought stronger social safety nets and more public investment in schools and roads and research. And those on the right saw even greater reliance on the free market, so-called. It's not a free market. I don't know. That's like calling abortion or Roe v. Wade that gave women a right to choose an abortion if necessary, when in fact it gave women the right to privacy. It's like saying, calling pills that regulate and in a sense interfere with a woman's menstrual cycle, those pills are birth control pills. No, they're pregnancy control pills. Why don't we get this shit right? There's not a mother of a teenage girl or a father in America who starts his or her daughter on birth control pills by saying, here, honey, this means that you won't have a birth. They say, here, honey, this means you won't get pregnant. These are pregnancy control pills. Why the fuck aren't they called that? But I digress. That's like a free market. A free market is about as free as some of these little kids down in Clinton, Texas, who are living in hovels with filth and disease and sickness and death thanks to Trump. Where was I? As wealth and power have concentrated at the top, everyone else, whether on the old right or the old left, everyone else has become disempowered and less secure. Every survey I've seen recently says that, where it concerns mental health, says that Americans are feeling so anxious, so depressed, so upset, and employment is at an all-time high. Big fucking deal. That doesn't mean anything unless you're a capitalist. And you know that those employment numbers are very high, but you're not paying the workers worth a shit. But I digressed again. Robert Reich points out safety nets have unraveled, public investments have waned, and the free market has been taken over by crony capitalism and corporate welfare cheats. Washington and state capitals are overwhelmed by money coming from the super rich, Wall Street, and big corporations, which means the legislative process, the governing process, under which all Americans have to live until we say fuck you and leave, they've all been corrupted by this money at the top. It's not going to change until the people make it change. Power has never been relinquished. I mean, absolute power has never been relinquished peacefully. Not that I'm aware of. Not in and among all the things I've read or been told or found out about. Power doesn't pack its bags and go home. So, Robert Reich asks, why do we continue to hear and use the same old labels of right and left? He says, I suspect it's because the emerging oligarchy feels safer if Americans are split along the old political battle lines. That way Americans won't notice they're being fucked. He says shafted. In reality, the biggest divide in America today runs between oligarchy and democracy. When oligarchs fill the coffers of political candidates, they neuter democracy. They make it totally powerless. That's just about where we're at. You notice that. The oligarchs know politicians won't bite the hands that feed them. So as long as they control the money, the oligarchs, they can be confident there will be no meaningful response to issues like stagnant pay, climate change, military bloat, the soaring cost of health insurance or pharmaceuticals or college or housing. The attitude for you and me, directed towards you and me, is fuck you. Fuck you. I'm on top. I make the decisions, just like Trump. Fuck you. Over and over again. Just like on the Fox News channel on Sunday, when people realized that they were being televised by Fox News and started chanting, fuck Trump on live TV. That was one of the most wonderful moments I have ever experienced in any media form. Live. And that poor miserable son of a bitch for Fox standing there not knowing whether to shit or go blind, while behind him, fuck Trump, fuck Trump, fuck Trump. Wonderful.
That was after the U.S. Open.
That was what?
That was in Lyon, France.
Yeah, that was in France after the Americans won the World Cup in soccer. Back to Robert Reich. There will be no substantial tax increase on the wealthy. There will be no antitrust enforcement. There will be no puncturing the power of corporate giants. There will be no meaningful regulation of Wall Street's addiction to gambling with other people's money. There will be no end to corporate subsidies. CEO pay will continue to skyrocket. Wall Street hedge fund and private equity managers will continue to make off like bandits. So long as the oligarchy divides America, splitting off people of color from working class whites, stoking racial resentment, describing human beings as illegal aliens, launching wars on crime and immigrants, stoking fears of communists and socialists. As long as the oligarchy can do that, it doesn't have to worry that a majority of Americans will stop them from looting the nation and in the process destroying it, which is what we are witnessing now. Divide and conquer allows the oligarchy free rein. It makes the rest of us puppets fighting each other on a made-up stage, and Trump is a puppet master. He's been at it for years, long before he ran for president. He knows how to pit native-born Americans against immigrants, the working class against the poor, whites against blacks and Latinos. He is well-versed in getting evangelicals steamed up about abortion, equal marriage rights, out-of-wedlock births, access to contraception, transgender bathrooms. He knows how to stir up fears of brown-skinned people from shitholes streaming across the border to murder and rape. And he knows how to stoke anger about black athletes who don't stand for the national anthem. He is a master of fueling anxieties about so-called communists, socialists, and the left taking over America. He can make the white working class believe they've been losing good jobs and wages because of a cabal of Democrats, deep state bureaucrats, and Hillary Clinton. From the start, Trump's deal with the oligarchy has been simple. He'll stoke tribalism so most Americans won't see CEOs getting exorbitant pay while they're slicing the pay of average workers. So most Americans won't pay attention to Wall Street demanding short-term results over long-term jobs. So that we won't notice a boardroom culture that tolerates financial conflicts of interest, insider trading, public bribery. The only way to overcome the oligarchy and Trump's divide and conquer strategy is for the rest of us to join and win America back. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.